I was going to get I was doing my youth service. So I was going to get married. They said, why? Afa, you want to get married? And I said, yes. Is that Islam? And I told them that is Islam. Because I was the mufti, nobody else will tell them anything. I was Islam. Say, but you don't have a job now. I said, yes, but you don't need so much expenses and coming back to the sisters. I told my father, when we were going to get married, sorry. He was asking me, what do we need to prepare? Money. I said, no, don't worry, you don't need all of that. And I told my sister, the one I was going to get married to, said we are going to get married, inshallah, by December. Because I had proposed. And by December, we should get married. It's about some 3 months or 4 months after my proposal. And he said, you know, we still have to do this. And I told her, said, I love you, and you love me. By December, I will get married. Whether to you or she knew well this man was in for it. I said, okay, now let's begin to plan the marriage. I said, okay, then the IVs and the marriage. I said, for my marriage, no IV. And if you want me to print IV on one condition, I said on the IV, my IV will be a meal ticket. Anybody coming for my nikah will pay for the IV, and that will be the basis for you to be served food. I said, in that case, please don't print IVO. Because she knew if she pestered me, I would do it. And you can imagine, so she agreed. And to God be the glory, the marriage was so simple. And up till now, we are still together. And about 15 years now, 15 years on, we thank God. But most importantly, for sisters and brothers, like we said earlier, the most important thing is for you and the man to understand Islam, to understand marriage, to understand what you are going into. And if you do that, it will be all good. I will return to one hadith the Prophet said to back up what the scholars have said. The Prophet said, Mohoba manis ti ishara wala nadama manis ti hara. That he will never lose he who consults Allah. And he will never regret he who consults man. In this case, going to consult man, we are not saying you go and consult the soothsayer. But istishara means you consult your friends. You told not just your friend who you don't trust, you consult the scholars, you consult the marriage experts, you consult people about the man you want to get married to, you learn about marriage, you have attended an academy over time about marriage. If that is done, I tell you, and you do your istihara, you leave the rest to Allah. Inshallah, it will work. And if it doesn't, that is the will of Allah. Wallahu alam.
Let's take this question from this brother, then we'll come back to the sisters. Sorry, we'll come back to you.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is direct to the judges. It's a real life scenario. The sister is ready, and the brother is ready. The date is fixed, but the bone of contention is the registry. The brother is saying he can't go to the registry. Why? He doesn't want to go against Allah. He doesn't want to swear with anything. Because Allah said, don't swear. And if you have to swear, swear with Allah. So what's the point of going to the registry? And the sister is saying she needs the certificate for documentation, for traveling, wherever, for anything. Up to now, the nikah is on hold. Because the brother doesn't want to go to the registry, and this one is ready to go to the registry. Please, what can I do in this situation? Jazakallah.
Wa alaikum takbir. Well, as a matter of fact, the right person to answer that question is right here in our midst, okay? And anyway, he doesn't need any introduction, does he? Assalamu alaikum, Justice Abir.
Assalamu alaikum. Honestly, they're not ready to get married. They're ready to get married is not an issue. We have a challenge. There's no doubt about it in this country. The laws that we have, unfortunately, are laws that are based on common law. Now, the laws we have recognize marriages under the Sharia and under customary law. problem the sister is saying is documentation. I don't think the problem is documentation, if you ask the sister very well. The problem is they want protection. Because if you marry under the act, if anything happens, in terms of inheritance, in terms of sharing, it's guaranteed. We have faced this problem before. And what we did was, look, they marry, you get a certificate. I'm sure Lekki Central Mosque should have a certificate of marriage at the issue. Support certificate with an affidavit sworn to by the two of them as to the dates of marriage and all that. And it has been accepted. It has been accepted in everywhere you go, they accept it. You get my point? Registry. When you go to the registry, the aftermath of the registry is un-Islamic. The effect of, if you marry in the registry, if the man dies, the woman inherits all the personal chattels, all the money, everything. And then 1/3 of the real estate for as long as she's alive. That's not in accordance with Islam. So anything that will lead you into all those things should be avoided. My advice is, let the sister marry the brother. She wants to travel to London, or is that is the issue, so I can get visa. She's not ready to marry the brother. Honestly, it's not an issue that she'll put the car on hold. You see, one thing I've been listening to what people have been saying since is that Islam has its ways, has its dictates, has its culture, and has its requirements. But we live in times that we have been polluted and misled by things that are not Islamic. You watch television, you read Mills and Bones, you're looking for a knight in shining armor, you're looking for somebody that will come and rescue you from the middle of the night and all this crap. Look, the reality of it is this, and I say this to a lot of young people. It's either you want to do Islam and do Islam, or you don't want to do Islam. You cannot be picking and choosing and be mixing and this. Courtship, dating, they are not issues that will concern us. Honestly. Let us make an effort to learn about Islam. We are Muslims. We have people here who are doctors. If I ask you a question now on medicine, you will answer me without thinking back. That's because on Islam, a story. We have an obligation to learn about Islam, understand the deeds of Islam, and then try and live by it. The sister advised the sister. She doesn't like the brother. Let her tell the brother, look, I'm just bopping you, I don't like you. She likes him, let them get married. Let them get a certificate from the Lekki Central Mosque, get a certificate from Ansaruddin, get a certificate from Micah, and then do an affidavit to support certificate, and inshallah you go through and get whatever it is you want.
Thank you. Well, you really don't need no certificate for you to a register certificate for you to pursue any of your dreams, traveling abroad, or you're trying to file in for your wife or your husband and all that. And I must tell you, I'm a living witness, okay? Because while I was in Canada, I was trying to file in for my wife, and I had this notion that, my Islamic certificate from Ansaruddin Central Mosque was not going to be accepted. But wallahi, when I tendered it, it was accepted. All I needed was just what Justice Abiru just said. What he said, that was exactly what I did. Swear an affidavit, and I did. And wallahi, it was accepted. And I had the option, I had the mind that, these people will be asking for registry certificates and all that. So this is just like an enlightening you further that you don't really need that. Now, we have gotten that question right now. We can spread this news ahead to all other brothers and sisters out there. But before I do that, let's take this from one of the moderators.
Assalamu alaikum. Please, I have this for my sisters. we need to be truthful and be sincere with ourselves. The question is, what exactly are we looking for? You ask yourself, you want your dream man, you want your man to be this, you want your man to be that. Is that what you are yourself? So you want a man tall, rich, handsome, you're not being sincere. And the first thing that is paramount is for all of us to come here today or to converge here is because we have deen. And with that, we've gotten to an extent that we have fear of Allah in us. Otherwise, you could have been out there in jumps and in shorts. So that fear of Allah is what we are advocating. We are advising us, sisters, to move on with. If you have the fear and the love of Allah within us, whatever is being presented from our brothers, we will appreciate it. See, you don't have to say, your man, do you have to work or do your man have to be rich? Can you start from the scratch? Why not if not? Who says if your man works in Chevron, he can be kicked out or he can be sent out and he doesn't have the money you thought he had initially? So that's not the issue. When you have your deen, you have the fear of Allah in you. Fine, I'm not saying you should not have taste, but we should minimize how we go about having our taste. This is a Muslim brother who you think is pious, who you think is religious, and is a promising person. Even if he doesn't have work now, who are you to prejudge him that he's not going to make it in life? So it depends on one thing, love what you have within you. Yes, I say this brother, I like him, I love him. With all due respect, every other thing will follow. So I'm just going to advise us that the insecurity we have in our soul, we should manage it well. We should be truthful to ourselves and be sincere. That all this stuff of, there wouldn't have been an issue anyway if it were just that, okay, this brother is from the rich family, or this brother is promising, or is this or is that. So please, my dear sisters, we have not enough examples. It's not that older women are not here. They could tell that they are gone through it for themselves and their husband to be where they are today. And we are all from such homes, like one of my brothers rightly said. So if you ask one or two of us to, we have things to say, religiously and even socially, or I'm sure many of you want, like, oh, my brother should be taking me out, I want a trip, they just open one Kentucky somewhere there, he is not socializing, he's not this, he's not that. That's probably our problem sometimes. But it depends on what you are yourself. So you can really push your brothers, your Muslim brothers, to achieve or to get to the level you think you want for yourselves. So, wallahu alam.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
That's what I'm standing beside you right now. Don't worry.
My question is directed to Dr. Maya Aleke. There's this scenario of a sister who is 34 years old, wants to get married, but the brothers available are very young. They don't want to get married to her. But the suitors coming are Christians, and she doesn't want to go out of the Islamic life. But the other way around, the alternative is getting married to a brother that is already married. But so the problem we're having now is the sister doesn't want to get married to somebody that is already married. And we want us to tell us that what about the wives at home refusing their husband getting married to the second wife? So we want us to talk about sisters not getting married to second wife, be the second wife at home, and the wife at home refusing a second wife coming in. So how am I looking to that?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الكريم. Before I come to your question, I quickly want to say this. There is this law, maybe a law from our own home, that you should never say yes when you cannot guarantee your yes. And once you say yes, you must not say no, because it is a crime. But it is a greater crime when you see it coming and you insist going into the marriage to end up into divorce. Is a greater crime. So that is the very first thing. And Allah says in one of his surah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tuqaddimu bayna yaday Allahi wa rasulihi wattaqullaha innallaha Sami'un Alim. That you must not bypass Allah and His Messenger in your affairs. That is the essence of istikhara. You see, our